What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be talking about a spoiler-free review of a vampire or vampires on a boat called Blood Vessel. We're going to do that right now. Blood Vessel is a little bit more than a movie about just vampires on a boat. So the story is about a life raft that is swimming out in the middle of the mid-Atlantic in 1945 during World War II, and Nazi U-boats are out there destroying anything that they can, including a hospital ship, and makes everybody jump onto life rafts and then disappear into the ocean. This raft, of course, then comes across another German Nazi U-boat, and soon they find out that there is a lot more going on in this ship. There's a lot of vibes in this movie that remind me of movies like Virus, kind of similar in its premise. I've also heard from one of my buddies, Slade from SOBs, who love SOV, who said that it reminded him of Death Ship, which is actually pretty good, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was some sort of inspiration. Hell, the movie even has a sort of Evil Dead shot in the movie that I'm pretty fucking sure that was a wink and a nod. Kudos for adding that if that's your point. Now, this movie it took a little while for me to really get into it, and in the first 20 minutes, I was kind of like a little confused as to where everybody was from and what was going on. In fact, even after watching the movie, reading the synopsis told me a little bit more, or maybe I just missed it in the dialogue because it's hard to follow along. There was a lot of conversation going on in the beginning when they're on this raft, and then when they board the vessel, and then when things go sour. Now, where the turning point of the film happens is somewhere around the 51-minute mark, and that is when it gets a much better film. Now, I also think that this movie has a lot of really great aesthetic things about it. Like the way that they light this film with reds in the dark and the contrast is actually pretty awesome. And some of the practical effects work, art department, like the books and things that they put in this really kind of paint the picture of the era. But I didn't really feel like I was in that era, so to speak, more like someone was playing the part of the era, not quite exactly right. So there are some good and bad things here. The acting is sufficient. It gets better as it progresses and you get used to it. But there are some moments in the film where I was like, almost as if it wanted to have that sort of Tarantino-esque sort of characters that are really rich and different and unique and have like lots of really great dialogue. But some of the dialogue here was a little stale, didn't feel great, and it really needed some sort of action scenes or something to happen to make it kind of pop a little bit more. It took a while for me to really kind of get acclimated to the characters and sort of like certain individual characters. And I feel like that could have been sped up a little bit more and trimmed down just enough and really sort of kicked off the action a little bit earlier in the second act. If you guys are into gore, there is some gore in this movie. It's actually not too bad. The practical effects, creature effects are good. Some of the special effects are really good. Justin Dix, of course, is done a lot of stuff, so he's actually a jack of all trades, if not a master of some, and I see the full potential of Justin Dix. I think Justin Dix is very talented in many areas, but some of the writing was a little hard for me to follow. As I mentioned, I really didn't feel like I was in that era necessarily, even though the aesthetics would prove me wrong. A really interesting kind of combination of things that are working and not working in this movie. I would like to see him make more movies because this one seems like it's a pretty good idea. The concept of Nazis being on a U-boat and being infested with vampires, occult Nazi bullshit like that is always kind of great. So it's always kind of interesting to have that in those kind of movies. But this is more than just a vampire movie that's just killing everybody. This isn't a Dusk Till Dawn version of vampires where it's just, you know, ham-fisting a lot of like crazy stuff in there. It does sort of do some new things in the vampire genre that I haven't really seen and kind of shoots for like an older lore or its own separate lore than I've seen. Some of the parts in the movie were kind of enjoyable. Some of them were a little lackluster. But overall, I think this movie is an enjoyable movie, especially if you like gore and everything that I've pretty much mentioned so far. It's not overwhelmingly gory. It just has its moments. I think this movie suffers a little bit from some of the writing, but I still think there's a lot of potential here. I would like to give this movie a 6, maybe a 6.5. I would lower your expectations a little bit. There are some really good treats in here that you will enjoy and you'll wish that you could see more of. Obviously, that's a personal choice that maybe Justin made to extend the story out in the beginning, and maybe it just didn't resonate with me, and it will with other people. Personally, I think that's a fairly good score anyway. It means I would watch it again. So it's available on Amazon or any of the digital outlets. We rented it on Amazon for $4. If you're looking to check it out, check the trailer out below, see if it's something for you. Hopefully I can help you decide on that. What did you guys think? Did you enjoy the film? Did you not enjoy the film? Did you find some of the complications that were in the film, but also see some of the really good potential in this film as well? All I wanted to do is see a lot more, so unfortunately it wasn't higher of a score. Other than that, please hit the like and subscribe button and even comment. It helps boost the algorithms on YouTube so that we get more views, and it does go a long way to help us out. Thank you for spending your time with us. And as always, long live the void.